Welcome into WagerTalk TV. Alongside Andy Lang and Tony Mejia, I'm Megan Payton. NFL Week 7 is here. The Kansas City Chiefs head on over to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. The Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites, total at 48.5. Andy, I'll come to you first. The 49ers. 7 defensive starters were out last week. They got destroyed on defense. This is where you know and you realize, all right, Jimmy G, you've got to start working with us. We've got to see more production on offense if the Niners want to be able to succeed, especially against a very top-heavy offensive team in the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs here by the spread. I think that Patrick Mahomes is feeling a little bit angry after that Buffalo loss last week. Anything you're looking out for in Chiefs versus 49ers?
Yes, absolutely. We're recording on Wednesday, so we don't have any rushing and receiving totals for Jeff Wilson. I want to grab an under on Jeff Wilson pretty soon as this comes out. His rushing and receiving total, if it's anything around the 70.5-yard mark, I'm taking the under. You mentioned the defense is banged up, and this directly affects the game script and the offense and why I like the under. The game script got away from San Francisco last week. They needed Jimmy G to throw. And what we see from Jeff Wilson, 7 attempts for 25 yards. The other thing with Jeff Wilson, he is not a threat to catch the ball. He has 1 catch for 12 yards in his last 3 games combined. So you're looking at a guy that doesn't catch any passes in the offense and a guy that they just stopped giving the ball once they got down. And the Chiefs, listen, if there's a handful of offenses you just do not want to face when you've got all these injuries on defense, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I would not be surprised if Kansas City gets up in this game and Jeff Wilson just becomes pretty much invaluable to San Francisco. They're going to have to pass the ball through their running backs. Wilson could take a seat. I look for him to have low carries. So I want to grab rushing and receiving on the under here. Chiefs, 4th best defense rushing yards allowed in the NFL. Take Jeff Wilson and his unders this week.
And look, we're filming this on Wednesday, but Nick Bosa expected to be back. I have a hard time figuring out this matchup because the Chiefs are number 1 in points per game. Tony, any thoughts for you? Niners versus Chiefs?
Oh, tons of thoughts. First of all, I'm happy that I dumped Tevin Coleman, considering Andy's always good on these props. And if he doesn't think Jeff Wilson's going to do well, and Tevin Coleman barely touched the ball last game, probably won't either. And look, this is a situation where I'm not going to make too big a deal out of the fact that the Chiefs could be coming off of a letdown situation. Obviously, the Bills game was the game of the year. And then you've seen the juggernaut of teams that they played. I mean, they opened up by abusing the Cardinals. But after that, it was a really tight game against the Chargers, a division rival that was coming from their heads. A game against the Colts that they let slip away because they chose Matt Amendola to kick for them, and he basically betrayed them. Travis Kelce dropped a pass in the end zone that he normally would catch in his sleep, and that opened the door, and the Colts walked right through and engineered an upset in Indy. After that, you had the Bucs, and they were able to beat Tom Brady and company. Then they had a rivalry game on a Monday night against the Raiders that was really tight and came down to the wire. And then obviously last week against the Bills, a game where Mahomes throws the interception late, and they were in it the whole way. So how much gas do you have left in the tank? Now you're facing the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara right before a bye week. So I think Andy Reid will circle the wagons and those guys will be ready to go, because the San Francisco 49ers are the walking wounded. And we have to get determinations here later in the week. But as soon as I get calls on the injury report on Friday, expect me to ride with Kansas City. You got Jimmy Ward. I saw him today. He's dealing with a broken hand, has a huge club on it. He's basically walking around with one arm and a robotic arm on the other one. And he's looking to play. Trent Williams, Mike McGlinchey up front for the 49ers offensive line, hoping to play, not necessarily guys you can count on yet. And if they do come back, perhaps they'll be rusty. The former Chiefs corner, a guy that the San Francisco 49ers picked up specifically so they can defend guys one-on-one, in Charvarius Ward, he may not play. He's coming back from an injury. Didn't play last week. Talanoa Hufanga, a guy who's really come on this season as a top safety, drawing comparisons to Troy Polamalu, in concussion protocol. last week's game against the Falcons. Eric Armstead unlikely to play. Emmanuel Mosley, a starting corner, tore his ACL. I mean, on and on and on. So if San Francisco can't bring pressure, Patrick Mahomes is going to eat them alive. I think the Chiefs handle business and go into the bye at 5-2, which is much better than going in there at 4-3.
Both the Chiefs and Niners entering the season, obviously Super Bowl contenders, so we expect this to be a good game no matter what. Kickoff at 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you, Andy. Great stuff from you both, as always. More from them on WagerTalk.com, as well as on Twitter, at Mejia Dinero and at Bump Sports. Stay with us as we continue to preview for NFL Week 7.